This super simple Italian pasta dish has made the entire culinary world go crazy. Let's talk about it. So we're talking about a dish called Cacio e Pepe today. And if you are, I would say, somewhat familiar with Italian food, you have almost certainly encountered this dish. It is really popular, becoming more popular.
As the name of the dish tells by itself, cacio e pepe is a pasta dish made with cacio, which means cheese, and pepe, which means black pepper. Nothing else, nothing more. I would say that is more famous outside of Italy than in Italy. Yes, we eat cacio e pepe. If you go to Rome, where cacio e pepe is from, you can find it everywhere. But let's be honest, we Italians, we treat cacio e pepe as we treat aglio, olio e peperoncino, which means when the fridge is empty and we don't have any other choice.
It's just a quick, simple dish that you can whip up in no time, and it's important to understand that context, I think. So, what's the problem with cacio e pepe? People try to make it, and they have some trouble with it. Basically, the biggest problem people have, maybe the only problem people have, I guess, is that the cheese sauce tends to break, clump.
Being like a stracciatella.
Yeah, the cheese kind of clumps and gets all stringy, and what you really want with a cacio e pepe is a very smooth, creamy cheese sauce. There are an insane amount of articles, videos, all these sources online giving their opinions on what the problem is and how to solve it. There are like a million videos like the foolproof way to make cacio e pepe, and we're gonna get to some of those in a minute. But before we address that, there are some important variables that can be different between the Italian cacio e pepe and the cacio e pepe that maybe you or I can make, and we should probably explain those.
The first problem, let's go like that, is the cheese. In Italy, you are pretty sure to have a very good cheese. And for cheese, in this case, I mean a pecorino cheese. Whether you use pecorino romano, pecorino sardo, calabrese, toscano, a sheep cheese, you know 100% sure that it's a very good cheese and melts in the proper way. Sometimes outside of Italy, and for sure here, you go and buy a cheese that says pecorino, but you don't really know what they put inside. So you end up having like this clumpsy, it's a word?
Clumpy? I like clumpsy though.
I like more
Sounds like clumsy, clumpsy.
It's a clumpsy cheese sauce that is not really appetizer.
Appetizing.
Good, delicious.
Well, yeah, we've noticed because, okay, for instance, Parmigiano Reggiano, the other kind of main hard cheese in Italy that's super famous, that is now at a point where, for instance, in America, you can find it very easily. And because it says Parmigiano Reggiano, you know that that is the real deal, made the right way. Otherwise, it can't say Parmigiano Reggiano. Whereas pecorino is just a catch-all term for any sheep cheese, but that name by itself doesn't mean very much. And if you look closely at the ingredients, sometimes you'll often see things like stabilizers, and they call them like anti-caking agents and like artificial things that I'm sure are meant to make it more shelf stable. We don't know for sure, but that could be contributing to the problem that people outside of Italy seem to have with a dish that for most Italians is just a really simple thing that they don't even understand why we make such a big deal about it being difficult. There's another important variable though that no one seems to talk about.
The other problem that is a problem, but it's also maybe it isn't a problem, is the kind of pasta that we use. In Italy, if you go, as I said, to Rome, where cacio e pepe is from, you end up having a plate of fresh pasta. Usually the pasta that they use are tornarelli. It is a thicker egg pasta in the shape of spaghetti, more or less. Sometimes they are squared, sometimes they are round, but that is a category, a thicker spaghetti, but made fresh.
Yeah.
And the fresh pasta really is much more sharp when you cook. So it helps to make it much more creamier.
We thought about trying to share how to make tonarelli at home, but it is difficult and you basically need a machine. And for instance, if you buy like a normal pasta rolling machine like a Mercato Atlas, they will undoubtedly come with this kind of roller. This here is for making like a kind of square spaghetti shape, but it's too thin, so you can't really make tonarelli with it. Machines that can make tonarelli are pretty uncommon, so rather than bothering with that, we're gonna focus on what most people use for cacio e pepe, which is spaghetti. I have been diving deep into the YouTube sphere, looking at all different kinds of people's solutions for cacio e pepe. So I thought it would be fun to run some of these by you, Eva. Okay, so here we have everyone's favorite internet chef, Babish, and he has his perfect foolproof cacio e pepe. Now, the first thing you are going to notice is the prolific use of butter.
Cacio e pepe is called cacio e pepe because it's a cheese and pepper. It's one of the few pasta dishes that actually hasn't any fat, like butter or olive oil or lard. It's like just a cheese and pepper.
Cheese. And then what he does to make a sauce that doesn't break is he basically makes the sauce in a blender before.
Being, as I said before, one of the most easiest pasta dishes that you can find in Italy, and we do when we don't have anything else, this should make you also understand that it's made by the poor students, for example. And believe me, the students in Italy, we don't own like a machine, a blender, or something like that.
It kind of defeats the purpose of this simple, quick pasta sauce. If to make it, you need to start pulling out the blender and everything. I mean, if it works, that's fine, but it's also,
you don't need
it kind of defeats the purpose. So this is another one, Brian Lagerstrom, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Good guy, but his solution is xanthan gum.
Now, except for a few, I don't know, in the deep chemical stuff in Italy, people who study chemical and something like that, we don't know what xanthan gum is. We don't see, yes, we have, but we don't use xanthan gum at home to make cacio e pepe. Are you crazy?
Oh, and yeah, and you also need an immersion blender here.
We are making an experiment here, not a pasta dish, an experiment.
Again, it's like, it's possible that that works, and that's like, okay, but again, it really defeats the purpose if you need to go buy xanthan gum to make your...
But also that if you present a pasta or cacio e pepe to an Italian and said, yeah, look, I used xanthan gum, they say, you eat this.
Oh, he also uses olive oil?
No, he's not using olive oil, he's frying the pepper in the olive oil.
Yeah, he uses olive oil and presents it as the traditional version too, which,
no.
Sorry Brian, that's not the case. I'm sure you got a lot of crap about that already.
This chart right here is why the traditional version is so hard to execute. Realistically, we need to say 10 to 15 degrees away from the melting.
This is another one, another YouTuber we like, Ethan Klabowski. He dives really deep into like the science of food and stuff, and that's great, but like looking at these like charts of temperatures and everything are just like, again, really overcomplicating a dish that is not that complicated.
See, we don't have to forget that it's just a simple pasta dish. It's like, don't make it more complicated than it is. It's a simple pasta dish.
Similarly though to like the xanthan gum, he uses cornstarch to try and make the sauce.
So, can you imagine if you go in a restaurant in Italy and they say cacio e pepe ingredients, cornstarch or xanthan gum, who will eat something like that?
So after going down that rabbit hole, I said to Eva, can you develop a foolproof cacio e pepe method that works with a not so great pecorino, if that's all you have available to you, with normal store-bought spaghetti, not some egg fresh pasta that's hard to make and hard to find, and keep it super traditional, so not adding butter and olive oil and xanthan gum and all this stuff. And it took her, well, it took her the time to boil the pasta. So I guess should we just show them your foolproof method?
The cheese that we need to make cacio e pepe is pecorino romano. But today I'm not going to use a fancy pecorino that I brought back from Italy. I'm going to use a normal pecorino that I bought at Costco, so it's pretty available for each one of us who lives in the United States. Using this cheese has a problem, and the problem is that this is a piece of salt. It hasn't really the pecorino taste that we are used in Italy. In order to avoid this salty taste, what I'm going to do today is using half pecorino from Costco and half Parmigiano Reggiano. If you use a mix like that, you will have a deeper, rounder result, rounder flavor. While if you just use this pecorino, it will be pretty salty. The first trick that you can use to solve your problem with cacio e pepe is grating the cheese that you are going to use in a very fine way. So I warmly suggest a grater like that, because it will grate your cheese and makes it look like a cloud. Making cacio e pepe, I discovered that my perfect amount of cheese is 25 grams per person. But then, when we talk about cheese, it's also real that everyone has his own taste, so feel free to adjust the quantity as you like. I like to use for cacio e pepe peppercorns because, let's be honest, they taste much better than the already grated one. And what I'm going to do is toast them in a pan. When you toast a spice in general, you need a very high heat, and I'm going to toast this peppercorn for about 4 minutes, but you can actually really smell the flavor, and when you start to smell the flavor, you understand that it's the moment in which you can turn off the heat. After the peppercorn is toasted, is the moment in which we can mash it, we can grate it, and the best way to do it's obvious, a mortar
and pestle.
Mortaio. So now we can place it back in the pan.
If you're using dry pasta, is there any pasta other than spaghetti that you would use for a cacio e pepe?
Spaghetti is like a staple. Then, because I'm a big fan of penne lisce, I will use penne lisce no matter what. Also rigatoni can be a choice. Maybe bucatini, also bucatini can be a choice. After we put the pasta in the water, what we need to do is turn on the heat on the black pepper and add some pasta water. The real secret of cacio e pepe is pasta water. It's not the cheese, it's not the pasta, it's not the pepper, it's the pasta water. What we need to do at this stage is just keep our pepper simmering in the pasta water. While the pasta is cooking, I will add a little bit of pasta water when I need, but really, this is the only thing that we need to do now. I'm going to cook the pasta very, very al dente, which means that I will take it out of the pan, the pot, at least 3 minutes before on the time that is written on the package. When the pasta is ready, turn off the heat because we need the pasta water, but we don't want a boiling pasta water. And then we transfer the pasta into the sauce with the pasta water and the pepper. We keep cooking the pasta in the pan on a very high heat, and we add a little bit at the time some pasta water, because what we need now is keeping cooking the pasta but create also a moisture with the starch that the pasta is releasing in this moment. Once the pasta is al dente, we turn off the heat and we let the pasta stays in the pan for 3 minutes. Don't worry, it doesn't get hot. It doesn't get cold, don't worry.
It feels so weird and wrong to let pasta sit like that.
Do you want a good cacio e pepe?
Yes.
This is what you need to do. What makes the cheese clumps when it happens is the heat of the pasta. So what you need to do is just reduce the temperature and reach the point in which the cheese just melts but doesn't make clumps. I hope that it makes sense.
A few minutes later.
Now the 3 minutes are gone, so I'm start to add the cheese. I'm adding the cheese a little bit at the time, and it's very important to add also some pasta water and keep stirring it, because in this way the cheese will melt properly. And every time that I add a little bit of cheese, I will add some drops of water. Again, it's just a little bit of cheese, a little bit of pasta water, and keep stirring it. That is how you make cacio e pepe.
Okay, even though you have to let the pasta sit in the pan in order to make it this way,
when it's in the dish,
when
no,
it's
I
on the
can't
dish, we
wait.
shouldn't wait. So before we talk about it, let's take a bite. Oh, it smells amazing.
It smells cacio e pepe, Harper.
Buon appetito. That came out
Perfect.
perfect.
It came out perfect.
Dang. Sorry, I need another bite. It's so funny because for you, this is just such a casual, normal plate of pasta, but I understand why everyone is obsessed with making it, because when you're not used to it, it's amazing at how simple a dish can be so good.
I agree. It's like in its simplicity, it's a very good plate of pasta if it's well done.
I mean, from a texture point of view, it's perfect. No clumps. Your method here with just letting it chill for just a minute or two worked so well. It was even simpler than what you used to do, which is mixing the cheese and the pasta water before. It's like, you don't even need to get that complicated. You can just add the cheese directly in, and as long as you're careful about the temperature, it works brilliantly. Also, I can definitely say, because I've had it both ways, when you're not using really amazing pecorino, doing a mix helps a lot. That is so much yummier than straight pecorino if you're using
Costco pecorino.
Costco pecorino, yeah.
Yes, if you're in Italy and you have access at very good and flavor pecorino that is not just salt, use just that. But when you are outside of Italy, where it's like find a treasure. If you find 100 grams of pecorino and you have access to Costco one or the others, make a mix.
Now here's the thing, Eva. You have presented this as a foolproof method for making cacio e pepe, but when it comes to cooking, you're no fool. I think a fool should take a shot at it.
Let's see what you learned.
Okay, I have my pepper here in the pan. Nice high heat. I'm a little bit nervous. I've never made a cacio e pepe before. Okay, yeah, I can smell that. So I'm gonna turn off the heat, the pepper into my mortar and pestle.
What do you think?
I think that's pretty good. All right, now back into the pan. But let's see how our water's doing. Ooh, we are boiling. Gonna salt it. And add the spaghetti. So far so good, but we haven't really gotten to the hard part yet. I'm definitely not as good as Eva at being able to tell exactly how far away the pasta is from being done, but I also know that I can always keep cooking it longer in the pan, so I'm gonna turn off the pasta water heat, transfer it into the pan. Now turn up the heat here, add some more pasta water, and keep cooking it. Okay, that's looking pretty good to me. I'm gonna turn off the heat and, hey Siri, set a timer for 3 minutes.
3 minutes, starting now.
A few minutes later.
It's showtime, the moment of truth. I'm gonna add a little bit of cheese and a little bit of pasta water. Start stirring. Okay, looking good so far. A little bit more. Water. It's looking good, Eva. Yeah, gradually adding the cheese really seems to work.
How it looks?
It looks pretty good, Eva. Okay, now we've come to the truly difficult part, which is plating spaghetti like Eva.
Bravo!
And now, oh, I need a spoon. I made cacio e pepe.
Now you made a very good looking cacio e pepe.
Yes, it looks pretty good for my first cacio e pepe, but you gotta try it to see how it tastes.
Buon appetito! I don't know if I'm more proud of myself to teach you, or I'm more proud of you that learn so fast. Mamma mia, Harper.
So it's foolproof?
Sì, for sure it's Harper proof. Oh, è troppo buona Harper. I'm not joking, it's amazing.
So having cooked it myself now, I can say that, you know, the key takeaways seem to be letting the pasta cool down, because as our friend Ethan Klabowski says,
With all that
it's all about
papers.
temperature, but you don't need to measure the temperature, just let it cool down for a little bit. Add the cheese a little bit at a time, a little bit of pasta. When you add it all at once, that it starts to clump up, just add it a little bit gradually. And also, just to make all of these much more yummy, do a mix of pecorino and Parmigiano, because chances are almost certain that you can't get a really good pecorino. This will make it taste much, much better. Well guys, we sincerely hope that this is the only cacio e pepe video you will ever need. I think it's time for this madness to end. It's a good plate of pasta, go make it, but definitely it doesn't need to be overcomplicated here.
As we say in Italy, don't waste your dream. To find a way in which you can make a very good cacio e pepe, just turn off the heat. It's done.
Also, let's be honest, if you continue to have problems with cacio e pepe, there are so many better pasta dishes out there. It's like, the obsession with this dish is a little bit insane.
Too much, too much.
I think fettuccine all'Alfredo, the real one, is a better dish.
Personally, I like them more than cacio e pepe, personally.
Speaking of which, here is an amazing pasta that Pasta Grammarian Brandon made. He made, well, it depends on where you are, what you call it, but filet, macarona, indasa. It's my favorite pasta shape, and he also made pasta with induja, which is my favorite favorite pasta sauce. So well done, Brandon. It looks amazing. That is not an easy pasta shape to make. Making macarona is way harder than making cacio e pepe, so well done. If you want to become a pasta grammarian, just hit that subscribe button, follow us on social media, and definitely tag us in a picture there if you try any of the recipes. All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Ciao.
So you know what? This is the best one. Let's be honest. That in the plate was 10 out of 10. This is 11 out of 11.
These go to 11.
Mamma mia.